Good morning, Olive, Arlo, and Frank. Grandpa sitting here in the living room, watching the sunrise through the back window. I went to see opera yesterday. It was very good. I saw The Barber of Seville. Anyway, today we're in Exodus chapter 8. We saw the first plague. God turned the Nile River into blood and other bodies of water too. And 7 days later, after that happened, we're going to pick the story up, chapter 8, verse 1, and we're going to do plagues 2 through 4 today. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Go to Pharaoh and tell him, this is what the Lord has said. Release my people in order that they may serve me. If you refuse to release them, then I am going to plague all your territory with frogs." Your grandmother would not like this one bit. She'd want to move to another country. The Nile will swarm with frogs, and they will come up and go into your house, in your bedrooms, and on your bed, and into the houses of your servants and your people, and into your ovens and your kneading troughs. Frogs will come up against you, your people, and all your servants. So this time he says to Moses, tell him to release the people in order that they may serve me. It's not specific as he was before. They wanted to go out into the wilderness for 3 days. The Lord spoke to Moses, tell Aaron, extend your hand with your staff over the rivers, over the canals, and over the ponds, and bring the frogs up over the land of Egypt. So Aaron extended his hand over the waters of Egypt, and frogs came up and covered the land of Egypt. So the magicians did the same with their secret arts and brought up frogs on the land of Egypt too. So they had some pretty dark magic, and I'm sure it's religion more than magic, and religion can be very dark. Once again, this is not a battle between Moses and Pharaoh as much as it is a battle between Moses' God and the gods of Pharaoh. Then Pharaoh summoned Moses and Aaron and said, "Pray to the Lord that he may take the frogs away from me and my people, and I will release the people that they may sacrifice to the Lord." Moses said to Pharaoh, "You may have the honor over me. When shall I pray for you, your servants, and your people, for the frogs to be removed from you and your houses, so that they will be left only in the Nile?" So they wanted to have frogs. They just didn't want frogs everywhere. Frogs are part of the ecosystem. They eat flies. People eat them. I don't, but tomorrow. And this is the most powerful man in the world at this point in time, Pharaoh. I would have said, Moses, you need to pray now. But remember that God is allowing Pharaoh's heart to be hardened, because there's a plan here. tomorrow. And Moses said, "It will be as you say, so that you may know that there is no one like the Lord our God. The frogs will depart from your houses, your servants and your people. They will be left only in the Nile." Then Moses and Aaron went out from Pharaoh, and Moses cried to the Lord because of the frogs that he had brought on, that he had brought on Pharaoh. There's the period. The Lord did as Moses asked. The frogs died in the houses, the villages, and the fields. The Egyptians piled them in countless heaps, and the land stank. Yeah, grandmother would this would be a deplorable situation for her. Not that that's funny, but I don't think she ever listens to these. So maybe it's a little funny. But when Pharaoh saw that there was relief, he hardened his heart and did not listen to them, just as the Lord had predicted. Now we're going to get gnats. The Lord said to Moses, "Tell Aaron, extend your staff and strike the dust of the ground, and it will become gnats throughout all the land of Egypt." They did so. Aaron extended his hand with his staff. He struck the dust of the ground, and it became gnats. It became gnats on people and on animals. All the dust of the ground became gnats throughout all the land of Egypt. When the magicians attempted to bring forth gnats by their secret arts, they could not. So there were gnats on people and on animals. The magicians said to Pharaoh, "It is the finger of God." But Pharaoh's heart remained hard, and he did not listen to them, just as the Lord had predicted. And yeah, nobody likes gnats. There's a reason why they call bugs bugs, because they bug you. And well, it might be a chicken and egg thing. Maybe they say bug you because it's like a bug. Now flies. Yeah, grandmother would, she would just not be happy, let's put it that way. The Lord said to Moses, "Get up early in the morning and position yourself before Pharaoh as he goes out to the water, and tell him, 'This is what the Lord has said. Release my people that they may serve me. If you do not release my people, then I am going to send swarms of flies on you, and on your servants, and on your people, and in your houses. The houses of Egyptians will be full of flies, and even the ground they stand on. But on that day, I will mark off the land of Goshen where my people are staying." So I'm thinking, and I think that this is what scholars think too, biblical scholars, and I'm not a biblical scholar by any way, shape, or means, that up until this point, the, the children of Israel were affected by these plagues. So he's incrementally building this up. The first two things that he did were pretty amazing. The blood and the frogs. And you would think, whoa, how do you top that? The magicians didn't top it, but they could do the same thing. Then he upped the game a little bit and did one that they couldn't do. And so now he's going to go, oh, that didn't get your attention? Because this is what this is all about, is we're going to get your attention. It's actually about two things. How it affects Pharaoh and the land of Egypt. But also, this is a story that's told at Passover every year and has been for, depending on where you place this in history, 4,000 or 5,000 years ago. They've been telling this story. There have been religions that have come and gone. In fact, I don't believe there's anybody in Egypt right now, and all of your grandparents could probably tell me if I'm correct about this, but I don't think there's anybody worshiping any of these deities. You know, the Roman pantheon of gods and the Greeks and Molech in the Middle East and all these gods, the religion around them has come and gone. Nobody's telling stories about Molech anymore. Not in a religious way. They're doing it as a study of history. But this is still there. And so that's the other part of it, is so that you would remember how I delivered you. God's going to talk about that in the Bible, in the Old Testament, constantly. That he's doing this so that they'll remember. And trust me, they'll forget a lot. But on that day I will mark off the land of Goshen, where my people are staying, so that no swarms of flies will be there, that you may know that I am the Lord in the midst of this land. I will put a division between my people and your people. This sign will take place tomorrow. The Lord did so. A thick swarm of flies came into Pharaoh's house and into the houses of his servants and throughout the whole land of Egypt, and the land was ruined because of the swarms of flies. Then Pharaoh summoned Moses and Aaron and said, go sacrifice to your God within the land. So now he's given up a little bit. He's like, well, we'll let you sacrifice, but we're not going to let you go out into the wilderness. You might not come back. But Moses said that would not be the right thing to do, for the sacrifices we make to our Lord our God will be an abomination to the Egyptians. If we make sacrifices that are an abomination to the Egyptians right before their eyes, will they not stone us? We must go on a 3-day journey into the wilderness and sacrifice to the Lord our God, just as he is telling us. So is Pharaoh going to give in here? Pharaoh said, I will release you so that you may sacrifice to the Lord your God in the wilderness. Only you must not go very far. Do pray for me. Moses said, I am going to go out from you and pray to the Lord, and the swarm of flies will go away from Pharaoh, from his servants, and from his people today. Only do not let Pharaoh deal falsely again by not releasing the people to sacrifice to the Lord. So Moses went out from Pharaoh and prayed to the Lord. And the Lord did as Moses asked. He removed the swarms of flies from Pharaoh, from his servants, and from his people. Not one remained. But Pharaoh hardened his heart this time also, and did not release the people. Wow. So we have 4 of them, and we're going to continue on in this high-level chess match where Moses is doing all these horrific things, and Pharaoh with the hardened heart is resisting as much as possible. And he's doing the rope-a-dope. The rope-a-dope is when you hang back along the ropes like Muhammad Ali used to do, and you let the person think that you're hurt, and then you come out swinging. But we're going to see that Pharaoh, he can come out swinging, but he ain't going to win. Anyway, until next time, peace out, kiddies.